Very great to see you guys. I'm sorry. You looking at all my stuff here and I'm touching things, but I thought I would do something different today. Something that I've been wanting to do. I've been wanting to make different kinds of content. Just haven't had a chance, and it's hard to be inspired sometimes. We've been working really, really hard at video game stuff, and I hope that you notice that we've been putting out some content. For a stretch there, it was super hard. I felt really, really embarrassed that I was coming on and saying a bunch of stuff about making a bunch of promises that I really couldn't keep, and so we just stuck to just making videos, and I think we've been able to make at least one video a month for the last year. I'm really, really proud of that. We even had something like 6 videos, I think, last month. And so that was a fortuitous circumstance that we were able to do that. So this is going to be a little bit different. First thing I wanted to do was actually talk about some of my favorite video game cover artists on YouTube, because I look to other artists for inspiration all the time, and it's very, very, very good, man. There's some really great artists out there, and some of them are so fantastic, and I think that they don't get nearly the amount of love that they deserve, and so in a way I'd like to bring attention to them, but also it's less to bring attention to them as much as it is to really take the opportunity to sing their praises, because if you know me personally and you can ask any of the Mesticals, I hate everything. I'm so I scrutinize things so heavily and so unfairly at times. I just hate everything, and so it's sort of a rare thing that I like something, and I feel like I'm always honest. I'm always honest about my taste. I find it hard to lie, because even if I say, yeah, that's great, you're gonna know in my face that I'm lying. So anyway, and of course, as always, we've got our libations here. Got my measuring cup. Before we take a sip, we're drinking Casa Noble. This was actually provided by Petey's Power Hour. I did a podcast with her, and it's fantastic. Well, I mean, I don't know how good my part of it was, but she does this great podcast where she talks about booze and she gives history, and she's really fun and funny and educational. So hopefully that podcast will be coming out in the next couple of weeks, and I'll definitely link it when it does. Otherwise, we're going to start with probably a shot. That's the first thing. Not a shot, just like a sip. So anyway, we're going to start with the first guy I thought of when we were doing this was Soundole VGM covers. Guy's from Australia. He's a classically trained clarinetist. He's also a teacher. He's an amazing clarinetist. I'm a classically trained trumpet player. So I love classical music, but I think he sort of dabbles in also the electronic wind instrument, the iwi, which I think maybe if you watch Insane in the Rain music, he gets on that thing. I mean, the guy plays everything. But he gets on that occasionally. But what's most impressive to me about Soundole VGM, I mean, he's a great player. I'm not trying to diminish the fact that he's an amazing player. But for me, his strength is in his arranging and his composition, actually. He's such a great composer, man. He has some original, VGM, chiptune stuff that I absolutely love. And it really transports me. Probably one of my favorite ones is an original that he did. I think it's called "Do I Know You." It's an original tune called "Do I Know You," and it's just so fantastic. He's got non-functional harmony there and I'm a big fan of that. If you like Chrono Trigger's music, that there's a lot of non-functional harmony in that, and that's kind of what makes it really, really gorgeous. The Secret of the Forest kind of thing. Soundole with this tune, he's experimenting with that, and it's really, really gorgeous. And there's also an ambient sort of narrative that goes on there, even though the music may seem somewhat repetitive. Anyway, so check that out. Right now, what I want to check out is his cover of Breath of the Wild, the main theme, because he did a chiptune style version of that. And I'll be honest with you, this one, just because I like his channel, I go watch his music. Otherwise, I don't think I would have checked it out because, if you follow me on Twitter, I am not a big fan of Breath of the Wild's music. I'm actually pretty aggressive. See, this is one of the things that I really don't like. I'm really upset when I think about it, or when I engage in conversation with people about the significance of the Breath of the Wild soundtrack, or the importance of what kind of artistic choices were made in the development of that soundtrack. I'm pretty upset about it because Zelda's something that's very near and dear to my heart, and I thought that there was great efforts made to to make it the definitive Zelda game. Every facet of that game just screams, this is the Zelda, from the narrative to the mechanics to the visual cues. There's so much visual cues that were taken and really, really developed into like sending that message, and the soundtrack is absolutely not that. It is just this, and I'm not dogging on the composer as a bad composer. I'm just saying, we all make mistakes, and I'm just saying this really good composer wrote some bad music. That's all I'm saying. But Soundole, on the other hand, he made it into something that it made sense to me. He made that main theme into something that made sense to me, and it made me have wonder that I think you're supposed to have when you play a game like Breath of the Wild, where you wonder, it's exploration, there's fear and danger and all those things, and he made this sort of mysterious feeling sound come alive through this music, and so I want to check that out. And let's see, ready? 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna let it play it once, but just listening to that, man, he there's so much limitation, and I think that's a part of what makes a lot of NES music so great. There's so much limitation, but he takes the limited palette that chip gives you, and he really, really explores it. And even just with those, with that triangle wave and that square wave and that. It just feels like this organic place, and the whole tune just has a really, really nice, shapely dynamic, with all the different timbres that he tries to extract from those melodies, and give it something that honestly I didn't really feel with the original orchestral version. So hats off to Soundole. Like, if you don't. He hooks up with some other. He does a lot of collaborations, so he hooks up with a lot of other reed players and wind players, and they make absolutely gorgeous music. I think they're really deserving of subscribe and at least a listen. Just listen to some of their work. His work is very, very, very good. All right, so the next cover artist that I want to give some attention to is Stephen Morris. This dude he's crazy, man. He's cool. He kind of does like a tiny bit of everything. He's another guy that I think just understands like the language of music and the language of emotion, and he could translate it very well. Right now, I want to listen to his version of the Secret of the Forest from Chrono Trigger. This is one of my favorite tunes, probably in video game music history. I don't know of another song that makes me feel the way this one does, and it's just as a piece of music, it's just a gorgeous piece of music. I want to listen to it. I haven't heard it in a while, so this is kind of like my reaction to it. But I can talk a little bit more. I just remembered him you know, thinking about like kind of artists that I want to talk about. But let's go ahead and give it a listen. See what happens. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. See, he's already got that electric piano. It's just like a little, it's just different enough. And I love his use of, you know, lighting and his camera work. It's very simple. Look, see, there's Soundole. There he is. Kicking ass. All right, I'm gonna pause it. You know, Soundole, like, you know, his playing. Yes, it's an electronic instrument, but there is enough control on that MIDI controller on that UE to really give it some characteristics. I mean, it really blends the human part in real time of controlling an electronic instrument. I mean, with wind, you know, with fingers and all his interpretation. And he gives that melodic line, you know, just this really, really soft touch. And it's very similar. It's really similar to the original, but it's just different enough that it keeps that organic feel, and it definitely keeps that mysterious vibe. All right. This chord's just stupid. I mean, that's not Stephen Morris, but you know, but he's giving it life. I want to see this next section. Great bass solo. Of course, the resolution. Oof. All right, see now. Look at that. Do you see what I'm saying? You know, I'm gonna stop it again. You know, and then for me, you know, like as a musician and understanding all the things that, you know, about interpretation and everything, like that's hard for me to do. Like to take two chords that seemingly don't really like lead into one another. They're like, again, they're very non-functional. They, you know, in a perfectly tonal world, you know, you wouldn't necessarily think of putting these two chords next to one another, and yet here they are. You know, you're sort of left in this position of not really knowing where what really key you're in. You know, and so the ambiguity of having that lack of tonal center is a difficult thing to navigate, like as a musician, and especially for me, man. I'm such a square, you know. But he's killing it, you know, he's just going with it, and it feels really, really nice. That was cool. again, I said at the beginning, he kind of does a little bit of everything, and this is really a testament to that. As a musician, and I think he would say, I've spoken to him before, and he would say that he's not really outstanding at any one instrument. That he sort of gets by on everything, but that still counts, because you're a musician, you're involved in expressing, and so part of this is these wonderful textures that he has. Like he's got this this xylophone here. Is that a xylophone? No, that's not a xylophone. I don't know what that is. It's like I can't remember what that's called. Xylophone has like wooden blocks, but it looks like he's got a melodica, and it really, what it is, it's just all these textures that he puts together really, really nicely. Things that, again, like we wouldn't necessarily think would go together, but they just bring this really nice texture. Anyway, Stephen Morris, I'm gonna cut him off right there. You go check him out. I'll link him below. We'll do one more artist because this video is getting a little bit hairy. So here we go. So we'll do one more. And this one is actually somebody that I just learned about recently, and I actually haven't heard much of her work. I think I saw her on Twitter, and she was trying out this bass flute, but it was a native style sort of bass flute. And whoa, it sounded badass. And immediately I was intrigued by her work. Again, I haven't had the opportunity to look at any of her work, so this is actually going to be more like a reaction. But so I'm going through her channel here. I just kind of picked something that was a little bit familiar to me. So this is Chrono Trigger, Scala's theme. Also one of my favorite tunes, just a really, really gorgeous tune. She plays a lot of wind instruments, and it says here, oboe/English horn cover. Love the oboe, love English horn. There's some hard-ass instruments to play. So we'll see how this goes. We'll just see, all right? So why not? 1, 2, 3. Nice vibrato. Let's see, she's got like a little flute up there. I'm curious to what this is gonna sound like. Like this. Okay. Ooh. So wow, that melodic line just really, really, really gives it so much more depth just from the sort of bendiness, which is the human element, right? That little human touch. That just and the voicings and the with her, the textures, she's got a bunch of little flutes doing that. You've got this chimey thing, bing, ding, 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 but she's putting other instruments kind of playing that same line. She's got some little flutes and that breathiness, just a whole other quality. This probably what it brings to mind. Again, not to diminish on the quality of the other channels, but what comes to mind when I hear this is 100% execution. Just, man, if it's just her playing all that, holy dog spit, you're just talking about somebody that can really, really, really execute really well. Let's keep listening. Nice. Hey. Wow. So that's really impactful. One of the things that actually always worried me about that tune was like how to end it, because it is repetitive, as game music, chiptune music often is. And she really did that. She put kind of a little coda there at the end, and some really really nice lines that are not necessarily part of the original music, but that definitely speak that same language. That definitely are sort of reiterating the same ideas without being the same ideas, which is just great, man. It's of course, so I have to be critical because I'm me and I hate everything. But I would very much like to. I don't know. I know it's hard. Trust me. I'm a creator myself. I would very much like to see like a mosaic type or like a video that has where we can see some of the playing happen. Just because it's so great, and I think the musicians deserve a ton, always deserve credit for their execution. So something I'd like to see. But there are barriers, man. It's hard. It's not always easy to make videos. But anyway, well, we're coming up on a very long video now, and I'm going to go ahead and link everybody that I'm doing stuff about. And I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you guys go check those artists out. The end of the year is coming up. I'm pretty much done with my tequila, and I hope very sincerely we're gonna have a couple more tunes come out before the end of the year. I think we're really figuring out how to do this, and we've really been bonding as a group. So hopefully we'll continue to be able to put out music for you guys. Otherwise, have a good one.